It is 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. And y'all are very studious, so I don't have to gavel you in tonight. We do have a quorum with all board members present. I'd like to welcome everybody. We normally open the meeting with a moment of silence tonight. We have some folks in our district that are really hurting, and I appreciate you remember them tonight. It's a joyous time of the year. We've got some folks who are having some real issues, so if you'd remember them in our moment of silence, I'd appreciate it. So if you'd join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now if you'd stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now for a fun part of the evening, student report. Dr. Randall?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. We have student reports, and we'll turn it over to them.
Good evening, board members. We are all students from B.F. Terry High School, and we are here to present our project. We all illustrated the book Supervan Tackles Cancer. My name is Leslie Godmez, and I'm a senior at Terry. I'm currently taking Art 4 AP, right? And when our teacher, Ms. Watson, told us about Dominic Austin, I was unsure of who he was at first. However, after having the privilege to meet him in person and hearing about his goal to co-author the book with Van Johnson to help families with transportation costs to get their children to their cancer treatments was extremely moving. Learning how to draw with charcoal was a challenge at first. However, now it is a new media I enjoy using and will continue to use in the future. Overall, being part of this book has been an honor and a life-changing experience. Thank you, and God bless.
Good evening, board members. My name is Edgar Alexander Pena. I am one of the students at B.F. Terry High School and a current student of Mrs. Watson, the Art 4 teacher. When we were working on the art project, I was at first frustrated because I've never used charcoal at all in my life. I've mostly done everything with pencil. But what really surprised me was when the actual author, Dominic, actually showed it to our class when we were originally told we were going to Skype call him. He told us about his story about what he went through during cancer, which inspired me to not give up no matter how frustrated I got with it. And now I've gotten better with this new medium of art. I'm now using charcoal when it comes to my rodeo art, which is actually a lot better than I first imagined. Thank you.
My name is Deja Hines, and I am a senior at B.F. Terry High School. Doing this project helped introduce me to a new perspective in art. There was definitely a lot of highs and lows throughout the process, from enjoying the way the piece flowed through to where being highly frustrated from learning the new medium. But in the end, I gained a lot of new experience. I am so glad to be part of this special project. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm glad to see that all of you were here to make it today. My name is Janae Chavez, and I am one of the illustrators that participated in creating this book. And I thought I'd like to share my impressions about being part of it. My experience with meeting the author and being introduced to this project have been what I consider a great opportunity. This has actually been a lot of fun. I am grateful to have played a part in it, and considering it was a new medium and I didn't know how to incorporate charcoal into my artwork for it, but I'm glad I did because it's going to help me with maybe future projects. And also learning that this whole project was for a great cause. It has just been very inspiring, and I am glad to have been part of it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Edgar Vasquez, and I was one of the illustrators to illustrate the book for Dominic. It was pretty fun to work with charcoal. I never used charcoal as a media for my artwork, but for this book, it was pretty fun, and I learned a lot of new stuff that Ms. Watson taught me. After meeting with Dominic, it was really like life-changing after hearing his story. And finishing the artwork made me really happy because I know I'm going to be changing a lot of family members' life. Thank you, board members.
And once again, thank you all for your time and for allowing us to have this opportunity.
Well, thank you for participating in that project. That was a great project, and thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it, and the parents of these young people as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steenbergen. It was our plan this evening for Dominic to be here with copies to present to each of the board members. Unfortunately, we got an email just before noon that he is fairly ill right now and unable to make that trip. The book has been published and we can purchase it on Amazon, and we're so very proud of these students. I've been able to see the proofs of the work they did that's in the book, and I know I speak for everyone in LCISD to tell you all how proud we are of each and every one of you.
Yes, we are.
Good job.
Hi, my name is Sydney Fela, and I'm an 8th grader at Dean Lehman Junior High School. The other Chargers here with me today are Jenna Bradley, Kelly Minor, Christian Gullion, and Haley Kuhn. On behalf of our knitting community, Knit One to Save One, I would like to thank the LCISD School Board and Dr. Randall for allowing us to present to you today. During a character counts lesson, Miss Barbie talked with us about our circle of trust. During this lesson, she showed us this bag of rocks. She talked to us about how we all carry burdens, but she is here to help us. Some of our burdens may be: my parents just got divorced.
I lost my dog.
I'm at a new school.
No friends.
My brother died.
The negative experiences we have may cause us to have a smaller circle of trust.
We talked about healthy and unhealthy coping skills we develop in response to the pain we experience. Many of us suffer from grief, anxiety, depression, loneliness, and low self-esteem. But unfortunately, we were using negative coping skills to handle our pain. When Miss Barbie talked about knitting as a positive coping skill, we were excited to learn something new. A few of us asked her to teach us how to knit, so we started meeting together at lunchtime. Within a few days, we had knit our first hat for a preemie.
Our group that started out as just 4 8th graders has quickly evolved into over 87 family members from all grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. We set a goal to make 100 hats by the end of the school year, and within the first 3 weeks, we exceeded our goal. We have knit 67 hats for preemies in Ethiopia and 37 hats for preemies at Texans Children's Hospital. We are currently working on a batch of 30 hats for Sierra Leone. So far, we have 27. We have set a new goal to make 250 hats by the end of this school year.
When we asked some of the knitters why they liked Knit One to Save One, some of the responses were: it gives us a chance to practice our English because we are from other countries. It gives me a chance to make friends with new people. Helps get out my anger. Gives a place for me to feel safe and welcome. Helps you get out of your comfort zone. It's not a club, it's my family. It's kind of like a competition to see who can make the most creative thing the fastest. It's relaxing time for me to relieve stress. When I'm having a rough day, there's a safe space I know I can go to and talk out my hard times. I give my knots of pain to make something beautiful and helpful for someone in need.
Our goal is to continue to have knitting at Lehman. We also want to have knitting opportunities at Fulshire High School and Roberts Middle School. Many of us taught other students how to knit after we learned from Ms. Barbie. Knitting gave us a chance to make things for our families for Christmas and other special holidays. We have even sold some of our knitting projects to other people. It has also inspired us to participate in other service projects like Toys for Tots and making trees for nursing home patients. Knitting has given us a sense of belonging. We're not a club, we're a family. We are a community of helpers, givers, and encouragers. Here are a few pictures we would like to share from our Lehman family.
This is our donation from Miss Peggy, and she donated a bunch of yarn and needles for us to make other things. Here is Open House, and we had a photo booth that invited people to join the Character Counts Club. Here are some kids at Choice Day, and they chose knitting as their choice. This is Carter Gavigan, which is a baby that we knitted a hat for when he was born. Each loaf of yarn can make about 6 hats. This is our first batch of hats that we donated to Ethiopia. Here's some more of our knitters, and we were working on some hats. This is our second batch that we donated to the Texans Children's Hospital. This is a baby that was born on Thanksgiving Day, and we knitted a turkey hat for him. Some other kids like to work on bigger things like blankets. And some of the kids like to crochet instead of knit. Some kids come during lunch, and some come during advisory. And we all like to do different projects.
Is there any questions y'all would like to ask?
Do you have some of those examples with you? Can we see some of those?
Of course.
This is a blanket knitted.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Thank you so much for a positive message. Yeah, go ahead, young lady.
We have a little something for everybody.
I had one other question. How do y'all find the families or the preemies that you give the hats to?
Miss Barbie usually does that, and she just looks around at what hospitals online need stuff. We also had a kid from Ethiopia, and they were visiting that country again, so we sent a box of hats to the country.
Again, thank you so much for the positive message, and thank you, parents. We appreciate you being here tonight, young people.
Good job. Good job, guys. Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Y'all are fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Very
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Your hands are cold. Merry Christmas. I'd like to say to the teacher.
Counselor.
Yes, teacher.
Excellent.
I always say, I didn't start a club. I didn't find them, they found it.
It's a And I think, Mr. President, this is another example of what Character Counts, the Character Counts program is doing in Lamar CISD and being proactive and working with our kids. So kudos to all of the staff and those kids for their hard work.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. Under recognitions awards, do you have anything, Dr. Randall?
I do that.
Lieutenant Segura, would you come front and center, please? Unknown to a lot of folks, this gentleman here was recognized the Officer of the Year at Rosenberg Police Department. So congratulations. Got it. Okay, I don't believe we have any introductions this evening, do we, Dr. Randall?
You do not, Mr. President.
Any of the audience to patrons?
There are none.
Thank you. This time I'd like to get the approval of minutes from the November 13th, 28th special meeting workshop.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any question, discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. Thank you. Need a motion to approve the minutes of November 15th, 2018 regular board meeting. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Any questions, discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. Thank you. The motion passes. Board member reports?
We had a facilities meeting on Tuesday, and now that we're really working hard, not just with 2014, but have delved into 2017, let me get started. First of all, Thomas R. Culver Elementary School, construction is 45% complete, and the project is on schedule. Roberts Middle School, construction is 45% complete. The structural steel framing is complete. The standing seam roof and insulation continues. 80% of concrete drives and parking areas are complete, and the project is on schedule. New maintenance and operations facility, the warranty corrections are being addressed. I think one more needs to be addressed in early 2019. Support service facility, the roofing base sheet is complete. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-in progress in Area A. Finishes at Area B and C, anticipated completion of 12/21, which is tomorrow. Exterior sheathing installation is underway. The cooler freezer shell is complete.
That's you.
Not me. I didn't do anything. Siri wants us all to go home, I guess. I don't know how people. Cooler freezer shell is complete. They said that it takes 2 weeks to cool it down slowly so that it doesn't crack. So in January, the health inspector will come when they can start moving food into it. Targeting owner occupancy of areas B and C by 2028, about 12/28. Band hall additions at Lamar Consolidated High School and Terry High School. Closeout documents are underway. Final acceptance planned for January board meeting. The natatoriums, the swim meets have successfully taken place. Punch list is 99% complete, and project closeout scheduled for the January board meeting. The HVAC web-based controls, all graphics are updated. Closeout documents are underway, and final acceptance at the February board meeting. District-wide access controls, Phase 2 sites door hardware installation is complete. Support services hardware is pending installation, and closeout documents are underway. The district-wide siding, the original scope and Phase 2 fixtures have been completed. Warranty items are in progress, and closeout documents are underway. Now at Tamarin Elementary School, where topography and planting survey approved at the November meeting is proceeding. Geotechnical proposal going to December board meeting, and commissioning proposal going to December board meeting, and traffic study is here tonight again, and design development review meeting was held December 13th, 2018, and that's hopefully will be completed in September, well, August of 2020. Our 2017 bond with the construction manager agent, negotiations between LCISD and Rice and Gardner in progress. Huckabee was approved as the architect for the 2017 Bond Middle School and Elementary School Child Nutrition renovation projects. Austin Elementary and Seguin Elementary childhood roof replacement. Austin is 100% complete. The final payment has been issued. Seguin, 90% of the roof has been removed. 72% of the new roof has been added, and completion is scheduled for January 15th. The new door buzzers have been energized, and minor adjustments are being made. Classroom security intruder locks are on schedule to be complete by January 1st. Our child nutrition serving lines, Terry serving line number 1 is complete. George Junior High serving line is complete, and additional serving lines completed during the summer of 2019. And our synthetic turfs, the project's under design and scheduled to advertise for competitive sealed proposals in February of 2019. Design meetings are being taken place for high school and junior high number 6. Design development scheduled for board approval in February, and substantial completion is scheduled for May 7th, 2021. And of course, our long-range plan and facilities assessment recommendation is on the December agenda. So we're busy. And as for myself, and I think a lot of other board members, we've attended quite a few of the strategic planning meeting tours, and I myself want to take a shout out to the parents and the community that came out for those meetings. It was very enlightening to hear what they had to say, and there was always a little something at each meeting that was a little bit different that was an aha moment for me, that I go, okay, that is something I hope we can address. We've attended the Carter Elementary dedication. I've listened to wonderful elementary school choirs. I was even a judge at the Bowie Spelling Bee. And today was a special day for several of us that were at Jackson for the blue ribbon ceremony. And then afterwards, I attended the Friends of North Richmond, let the pink students and other students from the pink blue track go shopping and get items for their parents for Christmas. The community, our community of LCISD is just amazing, between retired teachers and church groups and just elderly groups that come out that want to be part of our community. It takes a village, and we definitely have that village. So,
thank you. Do you have any other reports?
Mr. Steenbergen, the Attendance Boundary Committee met today. On our agenda tonight is an agenda item for approval for the members of that committee, and they will hit the ground running right after we get back from the holidays. So we'll be looking forward to that in a couple of months.
All right. Thank you. Any other meetings or events? If not, Dr. Rand, do you have any reports this evening?
I do not, Mr. President.
All right, at this point in time, we will open the public hearing on a financial integrity rating system of Texas at 7:21. Ms. Ludwig.
Good evening. I'm pleased to present Lamar CISD's annual financial accountability management report. It's in compliance with Schools First, which is the financial integrity rating system of Texas. This is the report for the fiscal year ending August 31, 2017. As you know, after the fiscal year ends, we undergo audit. The audit is submitted to the TEA in the January of the following year, which is January of 18. And then our results under the rating system is typically released in there's a preliminary release and then a final release of our response to this rating, and then we're required to do an annual report. The goals of School First, or at least the primary goal, is to achieve quality performance in the financial management of school districts' resources. This is the 16th year of ratings. Our report has to include, or at least the system includes, uniform indicators to measure a district's financial management performance. The long-term benefit is increased transparency and improved financial management. There are changes made to the rating system periodically, and the Commissioner of Education is in charge of those and communicating those changes. The 2016-17 report has 15 indicators. There are a number of them in the critical area, solvency, and financial competence areas. The final rating was actually released November 15th of 18. The requirements for our report include a number of things. We're required to prepare an annual financial accountability report, which you'll receive a copy of if you haven't already. Our report has to include our performance on all the indicators and comparisons to prior years. It has to include a copy of the superintendent's employment contract and other information, and then a summary schedule for the fiscal year of reimbursements received by the superintendent and each board member, and then gifts received from vendors and then competing vendors not awarded. Those items valued at $250 or more and received by board members, the superintendent, executive officers, and the immediate families of those. We also have to report any business transactions with board members in the school district. Then we include at the back of the report other descriptive information as we deem appropriate. The rating system includes a rating worksheet, and the rating actually is an A, B, C, or F. F is a substandard achievement rating. Ratings on the critical indicators are yes or no answers. A no answer to any of those critical indicators results in a rating of F. Ratings on the remaining indicators other than the critical ones, you can earn a potential 10 points on each one, and the maximum score available is 100 points. A score of 90 to 100 results in an A, 80 to 89 a B, 60 to 79 a C, and below 60 or a no to the criticals is an F or substandard achievement. The next page or slide gives you all of the critical indicators, and there's 6 of those. The first one has to do with whether we submit our annual financial report timely to the TEA, whether or not we have an unmodified or clean opinion on our audit, whether or not we have no material internal control weaknesses or non-compliance with regulations. We are measured as to whether we're compliant with all of our debt obligation payments and whether we've made timely payments to all government agencies, and then whether our unrestricted net position balance is greater than 0. So on all those indicators, which are the critical ones, we had yes answers, and so we passed those. The next group are the solvency indicators, and they measure our district's ability to meet debt and other obligations. These are indicators 6 through 12. So I've chosen indicators 7, 8, and 10 to cover tonight. First of all, indicator 7 has to do with our current ratio. The targeted ratio or score is 3.0 or more, and Lamar CISD's current ratio is 6.4979. Indicator 8 is the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets. The long-term debt ratio measures the financial leverage of the district. It should be less than 1.0, and our long-term debt ratio is 0.9154, so we passed that one and got the full 10 points. Indicator 10 is the debt service coverage ratio, and it's to ensure that we have adequate resources to make all of our principal and interest and other debt payments. There is a sliding scale that measures this, and the ratio must be 1.2 or greater to get the full 10 points. Ours was 1.1556, which is right below the 10 point, and so we lost 2 points there, but we did get 8 of the 10 points. The financial competence indicators measure our ability to manage the resources, our skills, knowledge, and data quality. Those are indicators 13 through 15, and I wanted to cover indicators 13 and 14. Number 13 has to do with how our annual report and the data within it compares to what we submit to PEMS. That has to be less than 3%, and we're typically less than 1% of difference, and you'll see there it's 0.0003%. Indicator 14 has to do with whether or not we have any instances of material non-compliance for grants with local, state, or federal funds. We had no material non-compliance. Our ratings has been superior for all the years that have been rated, in addition to this year, and we had a score of 98. The full report is available upon request, and any questions can be answered by myself or evaluated. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Comments? I would just say outstanding. When you can see my yellow tabs in there, those were not to ask questions, those were to say, wow, great job.
Oh, good. Great.
Very impressive, and you'll be forgiven that 2 points.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If no further comments, we'll close the public meeting at 7:29. All right, it's time to establish the consent agenda. We'll move through these. A1, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, B9, B10, B11, B12, B13, B14, B15, B16, and B17. That means all the action items are included in the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. Thank you. The action items are all passed. Information items. I'm not going to step through these. I'll just entertain any questions you might have. We had the stewardship report, which is the biggest report we had on Tuesday. Are there any further questions on the stewardship report? If no comments on the information items, we'll move down to the, we have no items for a closed session. Future agenda items?
Are we going to do the resolution?
Oh, resolution. I'm sorry. I've got that marked here. Would you read the resolution? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's very appropriate. This is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day.
That's why I thought we better go ahead and read it.
Whereas National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day is celebrated throughout the United States on January 9th, 2019. And whereas 780,000 law enforcement officers across the country put on a badge, not knowing what dangers they may face in the line of duty. And whereas Lamar CISD is the proud home of many dedicated law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line to keep our community safe. And whereas law enforcement officers play an integral part in our society and are guardians of our way of life. And whereas we appreciate the extraordinary efforts and sacrifices made by officers and their family members on a daily basis in order to protect our schools, workplaces, roadways, and homes. Therefore, be it resolved that the trustees of the Lamar Consolidated Independent School District declare January 9, 2019 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in the Lamar Consolidated Independent School District, adopted this 20th day of December 2018 by the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, and thank you for reminding me of that. Future agenda items.
Okay. You know that back when we did the audit, one of the things that it brought up is that we had not done a board evaluation, our self-evaluation. So we looked through and we did find one and that we could use, and I have made copies, had my copies made for each one of the board members. If you could take time, it looks worse than it is because it has a lot of explanation. Work through it and maybe get it back to Karen unless you want to scan it and get it back to me by January 10th. And then I will take it and make a, compile it. You do not need to put your name on it. It can be anonymous, but I would like some comments on there so we can have some information to talk about. And then there was one question in there that it pertains to how we work with the administration. I know you had brought that up, Ms. Roberts. So I've made a survey monkey, and after Christmas, I have several of you in the email that you'll get. It's just 3 short questions, and if you'll take time to give some feedback so that we can use it with our self-evaluation, I'd appreciate it. Okay.
And then we'll address this at the January workshop. We'll actually have a workshop after the workshop, so we'll do our self-evaluation.
On that Tuesday.
On that Tuesday.
And will that be a public?
Meeting the board, it will be public.
Okay. Is there any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. That's fantastic.
Any other future agenda items?
Just thank you for what's on.
If there are none, any upcoming meetings and events that we need to know about that we haven't?
Just Santa Claus is coming.
Santa Claus is coming.
There are a couple of musicals that are going to be hitting the high schools in January. I got that information this week. I think it's right after our next board meeting, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think they're doing My Fair Lady out there in Fulshire. And I forgot the name of the one. It's Lamar. But anyway,
And the staff would just like to wish the board happy holidays and certainly a happy New Year's.
And we're,
Thank you.
and back to everybody out there, thank you so
Merry
much for all you're
Christmas.
doing.
Try to
Be
relax
safe.
for a couple of weeks.
Meeting stands adjourned at 7:35.